At Thanksgiving dinner, my sister stood up and announced, "We voted, and you're not family anymore." Everyone cheered. I laughed softly and said, "Then I guess you won't need this." I placed a folder on the table. The moment she opened it, she started screaming. "Before we carve the turkey," Natalie said, rising from her chair with that smug, rehearsed smile of hers, "there's something we need to say." Everyone went quiet. Forks paused mid-air. My gut clenched. I knew that tone. It was the same one she used when she got me grounded at 14 for a party I didn't even go to. "We had a family vote," she continued, looking around at everyone like a pageant queen about to be crowned. "And we've decided, you're not family anymore." Silence. Then a cheering. Cheering. My cousin Laura clapped like she was at a concert. Uncle Mitch raised his wine glass and toasted. Even my mother, my own mother, laughed and said, "Well, someone had to say it." I sat there frozen, staring at my plate. The stuffing had gone cold, but my blood boiled. My dad didn't even look at me. Just sipped his beer and muttered, "It's probably for the best." "Wow," I said, pushing my chair back slowly. "You guys actually rehearsed this?" Natalie grinned wider. "You've been toxic for years. We're just finally done pretending." "You're not family," my mother added, reaching for the cranberry sauce like we were discussing the weather. "It's unanimous." I looked around. No one spoke up. Not one person. "Good," I said quietly. Then I reached into my bag. "I figured this might happen," I added, pulling out a thick folder and placing it gently in the center of the table. The sound it made, thunk, cut through the laughter. Natalie blinked. "What is that?" I smiled, leaned back in my chair, and folded my arms. "Why don't you find out?" She snatched it up and ripped it open, her mouth already twisted in that snide little smirk she always wore when she thought she was winning. Then she turned the first page and stopped smiling. Her face turned pale. Her eyes scanned the next page and the next. Then she screamed. I mean screamed. Like blood-curdling, horror movie kind of scream. Her chair crashed behind her as she bolted upright, slamming the folder shut like it had burned her hands. "You monster," she cried. "You messed up, twisted weirdo." Gasps echoed around the table. Joel, her husband, snatched the folder and opened it. Then his jaw dropped. He looked at me. "Is this?" I nodded once. "It's all real," I said. "Every word, every receipt, every screenshot." The table went dead silent. You could hear a fork clink in the kitchen. My mother's mouth opened, then closed again, like a fish gasping for air. "You were so sure I wouldn't fight back," I said, standing up slowly. "So sure I'd stay the quiet one. The doormat. The cash cow. But guess what?" I leaned over, looked Natalie dead in the eye. "Your little show? It's over. You want to know what was in the folder? I'll get there. But first, let me tell you how we got here. Because Natalie didn't wake up one day and decide I wasn't family. That decision was built over years. Brick by brick. Comment by comment. Betrayal by betrayal. I was never their favorite. Not even close. Natalie was the star, the golden girl. Good grades, big smile, knew how to work a room. She could lie straight to someone's face and make them thank her for it. I, on the other hand, was quiet. Private. I didn't need attention, and they hated that. They took my silence as weakness. I moved out at 19. Paid for college myself, worked 2 jobs, never asked for help. Meanwhile, Natalie flunked out of 2 majors, went to Europe to find herself, then came home and married Joel, the human equivalent of a LinkedIn profile in a blazer. The wedding? I paid for half. My parents couldn't afford it, but somehow still managed a 2-week cruise right after. I didn't complain. I never did. Even when they joked that I was the family accountant, I kept helping paying for Dad's dental surgery, sending money when Mom said the heat bill was overdue, even covering part of my cousin Laura's tuition when she got waitlisted for a scholarship. They always said, "Thank you, sure," but with that tone. The one that said, "Well, of course you'd help. You don't have a family of your own." And maybe that's what did it. See, I'm single. No kids. No spouse. No drama. Just me, my work, and my dog. And in their eyes, that meant I had nothing better to do than fund their messes. Natalie, especially, treated me like her personal failsafe. When Joel lost his job, she called me first. Just a small loan. When her car broke down, "You make 6 figures. What's 2 grand?" When her kid needed therapy and insurance wouldn't cover it. Yeah. Guess who she called? I always helped. Always. Because I told myself it was family. But helping turned into obligation. And then into expectation. And then into demand. It started small. Backhanded jokes at dinner. "Oh, you brought wine? Must be nice to afford good wine." Of course you're early. You have no kids to worry about. I wish I could work late every night and avoid my husband too. Then it got uglier. You're so cold. Maybe that's why you're still alone. You don't understand real stress. You don't have a real life. You're just bitter that no one needs you. Except, they did need me. Constantly. Financially. Quietly. Behind closed doors. And then came the text. Natalie. Hey, can you co-sign for a small business loan? Joel and I want to start a wellness cafe. Me. No. Natalie. Wow. Really? Then came the silence. That was 3 months ago. Since then, I got the cold shoulder. Mom stopped calling. Dad sent one-word replies. No one invited me to the last family dinner. Natalie blocked me on social media after posting a story about cutting out toxic people. But I didn't sit and sulk. Instead, I started pulling receipts. Literal receipts. See, I keep records. Bank transfers. Emails. Screenshots. Dates. I'm not stupid. And over the past 5 years alone, I'd sent over $78,000 to various family members. $78,000. $8,000 for Joel's rehab. $2,300 for Natalie's emergency dental work, which turned out to be elective veneers. $1,500 for my dad's back surgery. $12,000 for my mom's credit card debt. $6,000 for Laura's college move-in costs. $4,500 for a family emergency that turned out to be a trip to Cabo. And not once, did any of them offer to pay me back. They just took. And when I stopped giving, they decided I was the problem. So I made the folder. Inside. Every transfer confirmation. Every email and text request for money. Screenshots of Natalie calling me manipulative to her friend because I said no to the loan. A timeline of every major payment I made in the last 5 years. And, as a cherry on top, copies of Facebook and Instagram posts where they mocked me. I have screenshots of Natalie calling me a cash cow with no spine in a private comment thread she didn't know I had access to. So yeah, that's what she saw when she opened the folder. That's what made her scream. Because Natalie wasn't just exposed. She was dismantled, fact by fact, line by line, page by page. All while the rest of the family realized what they had done. My mom looked ready to faint. Joel? He stared at the line that said $4, $200 to cover Natalie's credit card, used at a hotel in Santa Monica with someone named Alyssa, and just said, "What is this?" I didn't answer. I didn't have to. Because for the first time ever, I wasn't defending myself. I was just showing them the truth. You kept records, my mom said finally, her voice shaking. Of everything? I turned to her, calm as ever. You never remembered, so someone had to. Natalie was still standing, still pale, her fists clenched at her sides. Her eyes darted to Joel, to me, to the folder. This is a violation, she spat. You had no right to. No right? I said, standing up slowly. You just stood in front of this whole family and declared me not family. You all clapped. And now you're upset that I came prepared. Joel flipped another page in the folder. What's this about Santa Monica? He asked, his voice tight. Natalie's head snapped toward him. Don't start. Who's Alyssa? He continued. Why were you at a hotel for 3 nights on my credit card? Her silence was louder than any answer. Wait, my mom cut in, holding her hands up. Can we all just calm down and be reasonable? Sure, I said. Let's be reasonable. Let's talk about the time you called me a parasite while cashing the check I sent you. She blinked. That's not fair. We were under stress. No, I snapped. You were under stress. And I bailed you out. Every single time. And the one time I say no? Suddenly I'm the enemy. My dad, who had been dead silent until now, finally spoke up. You're making this into something bigger than it is. I turned to him, and my voice dropped. You let them do this to me for years. You knew. You saw it. You heard it. And you let it happen because it was easier than standing up to them. He didn't deny it. Natalie slammed her hand on the table. You're just bitter because no one needs you anymore. Wrong, I said coldly. I'm not bitter. I'm done. She let out a bitter laugh. You're pathetic. Do you know how dramatic this all looks? Bringing a folder? Printing screenshots? You think this makes you the victim? You're just proving you're a control freak. And you're just proving, I said, that you only cared about me when I was paying your bills. You don't get to play the martyr, she shouted. You chose to help. You didn't have to. And yet, somehow, I said, stepping forward, you expected it. Every single time. Until it wasn't help anymore. It was duty. And when I stopped, you voted me out. My voice cracked, not from sadness, from rage. You didn't want a brother. You wanted a wallet with legs. Joel stood up now, holding the folder. Is this true? He asked, looking at Natalie. All of this. Natalie looked at him, and for the first time, she didn't have a comeback. No fake tears. No deflection. Just silence. You lied to me, he said. About the hotel. About the money. About him. You made it sound like he was crazy. I had to, she exploded. He was turning everyone against me. I wasn't, I said. You did that all by yourself. The room went quiet again. Then my mom leaned forward and tried one more time. Her voice softened. Listen, honey. We may have overreacted, but this is still family. And families fight. Let's just put this behind us. I cut her off. You're not hearing me. She blinked. What? I'm not asking for peace. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm telling you, I'm done. Natalie sneered. Oh, stop pretending like this is some big moment. You've said that before. I looked her dead in the eyes. Not like this. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out another envelope. What now? My dad asked, clearly exhausted. I tossed it onto the table. Joel caught it before it slid off. He opened it. Read the first line. His eyes widened. What is this? He whispered. I answered for him. Power of attorney forms. For Mom. Revoked. Medical proxy. Revoked. Emergency contact? Removed. I've already signed the papers. I am legally and emotionally no longer responsible for any of you. My mother gasped. You're cutting ties completely? Completely, I said. Starting now. You're being selfish, she said, tears now forming. We made mistakes, but we're still your family. I turned to her, and my voice dropped again, calm, final. No, you're not. I grabbed my coat, looked at them one last time, and walked out the door, leaving them in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner, stunned and speechless, surrounded by cold food and ugly truths. I walked out, and I didn't look back. Not because it didn't hurt. It did. But as I closed the door behind me, stepped off their porch and into the cold night air, I felt something inside me shift. For the first time in years. I could breathe. I didn't drive straight home. I pulled off the road near the lake I used to visit as a kid, the place Dad used to take me fishing. I sat there in silence, staring out at the still water, and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Nothing pulling at me. No guilt. No pressure. No one waiting on a check or a ride or a favor. Just stillness. The next morning? Silence. The day after that? Still nothing. But on the third day, the messages started. First, my mom. A missed call. Then another. Then a voicemail. You really meant it? We were angry, but we're still your family. I didn't respond. Then came the texts. From Natalie. You don't even realize what you've done. Joel's filing for divorce. Are you happy? Something is really wrong with you. Then my dad. You went too far. We all said things we regret. But what you did was nuclear. Your mother is a wreck. Come fix this. I didn't reply to any of them. And honestly, I thought I'd feel guilty. I thought I'd toss and turn at night, wondering if I went too far. But instead, I slept better than I had in years. There was no more second-guessing every text. No more waiting for the other shoe to drop. No more late-night Venmo requests, guilt trips disguised as emergencies. For the first time in a decade, I could hear myself think. I started waking up early, going for runs, brewing coffee slowly. I made appointments I'd put off for years. Dentist, doctor, even a therapist. Not because I was broken, but because I was finally allowed to take care of myself. I rewrote my emergency contacts, removed my parents, changed my passwords, froze every joint account they had access to, blocked Natalie on every platform. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about closure. A week after Thanksgiving, I got a text from Laura, my cousin who clapped when they voted me out. I didn't know you paid for my tuition. I'm sorry. I followed the crowd. You were always the one who actually helped. I didn't answer, but I read it. Twice. Then, another surprise, a message from Joel. I filed the papers. Everything in that folder checked out. She cheated, lied, manipulated. Not just you, me too. He added. You did the right thing. I should have left sooner. I wasn't expecting that. But it landed. A few days later, I did something I hadn't done in years. I applied for a job in another city. Not because I was running, but because I was finally free. No more, you should stay close to home. No more, who will take care of them if you leave? I started reconnecting with friends I hadn't seen in years. People I'd pulled away from because I was always too busy with family stuff. And the wildest part? Some of them had seen my post on Reddit. They reached out, just to say, "We're proud of you." That was brave. No one asked for money. No one guilted me. No one tried to spin it. Just support. Simple, honest, clean. Someone asked me, "Don't you regret it?" I thought for a second, then said, "I only regret not doing it sooner." I thought that was the end. And in a way, it was. But with people like them, nothing ever ends cleanly, especially when they start to feel the consequences of your absence. The first few weeks after Thanksgiving were quiet. Beautifully, eerily quiet. No calls. No guilt. Just peace. Until Christmas. On December 22nd, I got a text from my mother. Just a picture. It was their living room, decked out with stockings, a half-decorated tree, and front and center, a massive empty space where they usually stacked the presents. "It doesn't feel the same without you," the caption said. "Ellie keeps asking why Uncle isn't coming this year." I stared at it for a long time. No apology. No ownership. Just the same manipulative undertone. "Look what you've done. Look who you're hurting." I didn't reply. December 23rd, Natalie tried calling. I let it ring out. Then she sent a message. "I know I messed up, but you don't have to punish everyone. Just come by for Ellie. She misses you." 2 minutes later. "Also, Mom and Dad are behind on their mortgage. I know you don't care anymore, but the bank called today. I thought you'd want to know." There it was. The ask. Always hidden in a blanket of guilt, always covered in fake softness. But it always ended the same way, with a request. I blocked the number. December 24th. Another text. This time from Dad. "You made your point. We get it. But enough is enough. We need help. We're still your blood." That night I sat alone by the fireplace with a glass of wine. I looked around my small apartment. No tree, no noise. Just me and the silence they always said would destroy me. And for the first time in my life, I was thankful for that silence. But it didn't end there. January. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I picked up out of habit. "Is this Daniel?" a man's voice asked. "Yes." "Who's calling?" "My name is Mark," he said. "I'm calling on behalf of your father. He mentioned you're the primary executor of the family trust." I froze. "I revoked that role 2 months ago," I said. "It was finalized by the family attorney. My name is off everything." The man paused. "I see. Your father said he couldn't reach you directly and asked me to explore options." There, in a bit of a bind. Of course they were. Natalie and my parents had run out of options. The ATM was closed. The safety net was gone. Now they were trying to get creative. I hung up without another word. But the final straw came in February. I got an envelope in the mail. Handwritten. No return address, but I recognized my mother's handwriting instantly. Inside was a letter, 3 pages. The first page was all about regret. We said things in anger. "You've always been the strong one. We never realized how much we leaned on you." The second page turned to guilt. "Your father's health isn't good. Natalie's completely alone now. We're worried about Ellie. She's struggling." And the third page? That was the hook. "We're selling the house, but we're underwater on the mortgage. We just need a little help to get through this. Then we'll never ask again. Please, Daniel, do it for your father. Do it for the family." I sat with the letter for a while. Let myself feel every ounce of what they wanted me to feel. The weight of responsibility. The sting of obligation. The aching need to fix what was broken. Then I folded the letter, got up, walked to the kitchen, and tossed it in the trash. The truth is, they weren't asking for help. They were asking for access. Again, they didn't want me back in the family. They wanted the version of me who didn't say no, the one who paid silently, sacrificed silently, suffered silently. But that version of me? He's gone. I'm not their scapegoat anymore. I'm not their golden goose. I'm not the duct tape holding a broken house together. I am done. And the most terrifying part for them? I'm doing just fine without them. I got a new job, moved to a new city, bigger place, clean slate. I started volunteering on weekends, not because anyone needed me, but because I wanted to. I built a life where no one calls me at 11 p.m. to cover a mistake they refuse to own, where I'm not punished for being independent, where kindness isn't used as leverage. I don't regret helping them, but I do regret how long it took me to stop. You want to know what real peace feels like? It's not being surrounded by family. It's being free from people who only call you family when they need something. Update, months later. I didn't think this post would get attention. Honestly, I just needed to say it, to put it somewhere. But I read every comment. The people who said, "You were brave," They don't deserve you. Thank you. I didn't know how much I needed to hear that until I did. And to the few who asked, but what if they change? Yeah, I've asked myself that too. It's been a few months now. They didn't change. After I cut them off, after the folder, after the screaming and the silence and the letters, I thought maybe, just maybe, someone would get it. That they'd reflect. That they'd say, "We're sorry." They didn't. They got quiet for a while. Then they got strategic. Then they got desperate. Then they got ugly again. But me? I got free. Since then, I moved to a new place. Got a job that doesn't keep me up at night. Started therapy. Real therapy. The kind where you stop trying to fix everyone else and finally learn how to sit with yourself. I cook for myself now. I sleep better. I go outside more. I don't flinch when the phone buzzes. And yeah, sometimes I think about Ellie. About what she's being taught. About what she'll grow up believing is normal. But I also know this. I was the example of someone who finally said enough. A few days ago, I got another letter. Handwritten. From my mom. It was 3 words. We're still family. No context. No apology. No change. Just the same old hook. And for the first time, I didn't feel anything. No anger. No sadness. Just nothing. I threw it away and made dinner. So now I'm back here. Because this place gave me a kind of clarity I didn't expect. Strangers saw me clearer than my own blood ever did. So here's what I want to ask. Did I do the right thing? Cutting them off. Dropping the weight. Saying no. And meaning it. Was I too cold? Or was I finally just done being the only one holding it all together? I don't know. But I do know this. For the first time in my life, I'm not surviving. I'm living. Thanks for reading. Still listening.